What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? Randy here with RTS Mobile Gaming, bringing you a fantastic video today. We are playing Lord of the Rings Rise to War, and in today's video, we are talking about which is better, defense or damage taken reduction, okay? In this video, we're going to go through a little bit of math, and we're going to get to our conclusion. But first things first, give me that like and subscribe, baby. So, in this video, we are comparing a report between my Witch King and Noah the Evil. Shout out to you with the Gondor faction on Server 6. We're doing a comparison between the Witch King and Noah's Dwalin. In this video, we're talking about rounds 1 and 3 of the combat, in which my Halberdier dealt physical damage to his Guard of the Tower. Several RNG things triggered and functioned in our favor, which assisted in the calculations here, which is why we're talking about specifically rounds 1 and 3. In a few minutes, I will also pull up a spreadsheet that has everything calculated out to the decimal point, and we're going to talk about which is better, the defense or the damage percent reduction. Boom, baby, here we go. All right, into the report, round 1. So I've already gone through and calculated all these preparations and the pre-battle phase. I've already put all these percentages in, okay? Like here, Guard of the Tower, 3% less damage received from the chest piece, okay? Halberdier plus 9% damage dealt from the weapon, on and on. I've already calculated all of that out for this exercise. Into round 1. Here are the RNG things that triggered in our favor for this video. I triggered Opportune Strike with Halberdier. That gave me maximum damage output of 22.2 to 22.2. It's a 0 variance range. I dealt max damage. In addition to that, once my Halberdier here, who attacked the Guard of the Tower did not trigger his 50% chance to trigger shielding, which reduces his physical damage received by 20%. Because of that, I was able to very quickly and easily calculate my actual damage ratio. Halberdiers, with 1,200 Halberdiers at 22.2 damage, we should be around 40, let's see here, about just shy of 44,000 damage dealt. And because of that, this is clearly much less than that, okay? Then we went into round 3, where we had the same set of triggers took place. Again, I triggered Opportune Strike with the Halberdier in round 3. We go down where we punch the Guard of the Tower in the face. He does not trigger shielding again, luckily. And then here he's dealt another 3,205 damage, okay? So, first off, the Guard of the Tower has 87 defense, which is 78 from his base skills. He gets +1 bonus and plus from the commander, and then +8 bonus from the equipment. So overall, the Guard of the Tower is a very tanky unit. Now, when the combat is calculated, physical damage is mitigated by defense, and then it's further mitigated by reduced damage taken. So this physical damage reduction comes after defense in the calculations. So if I deal, we'll get into the calculations in a second, okay? But long story short, what does that mean, Randy? Well, that means the higher defense you have, the less effective point for point that damage reduction percent will be, because the more damage you're able to delete with your defense, the less damage there is to slice down percentage-wise after the fact. However, we've also shown in our calculations that defense is a scalable stat, right? So a Swan Knight with 190 defense is not going to mitigate your damage by 190%. So what are you going to heal him? No, he is going to, on a scaling curve, right? And I did the curve towards you. On the scaling curve, the Swan Knight is going to reduce the damage and get closer and closer to 0. From there, whatever's left after this 87 defense mitigates the damage, this 20% physical damage received will further reduce that damage received, okay? As well as any other stacking abilities like this, all right? Into the calculations themselves, let me just check on myself, make sure I didn't get zeroed out. We are in the middle of a war right now as I'm doing this video. Very good, not zeroed. I'm going to go ahead and pop open my Excel sheet for you. So make sure you give me that like and sub. Where is the Excel sheet? There it is. The Excel sheet's there. Okay, here we go. So here you can see I have already calced it out. I got round 1 and round 3 here. I have calculated out my damage increase by all those different variables that I talked about from the first 3 or 4 rows. So I get 10%, 16%, 9%, 30% damage bonuses. Whoops. I accidentally typed in something here. I'm going to undo that. Okay. And then I've also done the same thing for the Guard of the Tower's defense and damage reduction. Here I've gone through and calculated he gets 0.61% damage reduction, 10%, 3%, and 15%, okay, throughout the things. So the Guard of the Tower gets a total of 34.1% damage reduction after defense is applied. My Halberdiers deal a total of 65% increased damage. My daughter's banging on the door. Apologize for that. I've got to go tend to them in about 2 minutes here, so let's make this quick. So, long story short, we have reverse calculated our way into this equation. We have determined that after defense is applied, my total halberdier damage, 22.2 damage to 1,200 halberdiers with a 65% increase. My total damage should be about 43,956. After defense is applied, the defense in this case is going to give us right here a 83.4% reduced physical damage taken, so it's not quite a 1-to-1. Like I said, the closer to 100 you get, and then above 100, the steeper and steeper the scale is against you, okay? So the 87 defense that the Guard of the Tower has applied a 83.4 in this round, and in round 3 it applied an 82.5% physical damage reduction. From there, we apply the 34.1% percentage damage reduction received, which takes us exactly to 4,794.999, which rounds up to the 4,795 found in the report. From this, we can extrapolate that defense does indeed scale the closer you get to 100. We can also conclude that the higher your defense is, the less damage there is for the damage reduction stat to affect. However, as your defense gets higher and higher, even though damage reduction isn't doing a 1-to-1 reduction either, it is becoming more and more valuable as the scale of your defense steepens, okay? So my personal opinion and conclusion at the end of this video is, let's scroll down here. I've done just some rough calcs for you, just for your brain to look at. What is this? I don't know what this is. Okay, with 30 defense, and this is just, I haven't fully tested it out, but let's just assume that the closer to 1 you get, the more 1-to-1 ratio the defense is. So let's assume for this conversation alone that defense scenario 1, you have 30 defense, it's a 30% reduction on 10,000 damage. Your defense reduction is going to give you a 77,000 damage received. You're going to further reduce that by another 30%. Down to 4,900, okay? Your value of defense reduction is 2,100. It's not quite as valuable as defense, okay? Which is fine. But here you can see now we get to the other end of the spectrum at the 65 defense scale where you're getting a 60% damage reduction. Damage reduction percentage of another 30% applied to that. You have 4,000 reduced by another 30 to 2,800. Down to a total value for the defense reduction of 1,200. So, I'm trying to demonstrate here, it's tough to see without a graph, I probably should have done a graph, but as the defense becomes closer and closer to 100, it is starting to slope up, which means that even though there's less actual damage to mitigate with the percentage, the amount that it's mitigating is worth more per point than the defense, okay? So I think that this break-even point is somewhere around the 75 to 80 range. I think once you hit that 80 range, you can now, I would say that your damage reduction stat is worth just as much as your defense stat. And once you pass 90 to 100 range, your damage reduction stat is now more valuable than your defense stat, okay? So, that is the video. Give me the like and sub. I love you guys. Long time. Randy out, baby. Just remember, when you get closer to the 80 range, 80 defense, now your damage reduction is going to be more valuable. And once you get to the 90 to 100 range, it's become noticeably more valuable, and you want to start putting points into that. All right. Love you long time. Randy out.